to LA and had a great time out in Los Angeles, and lots of good things are coming out of that trip that you'll be finding out here in the near future. Also, we are scheduled next week, next Wednesday, to do a HAPS takeover. We have David Newman, the one of the co-founders of HAPS, and a producer, just a great guy, and Malik Yusuf. So, I mean, kind of probably doesn't need much of an introduction to anybody that knows music, but Malik is a friend of mine, and Malik is, he's an amazing dude. Just a great human being. I love Malik a lot, and he has won a few Grammys, Emmy, and a Peabody, so he's going to be there. And then probably my best friend in the world, Dr. Dominica McBride, who runs the nonprofit that I've helped her with over the last almost decade, I think now. And she's going to be on. She's a psychologist, and we're going to talk about ritual as it relates to everything, but live streaming, video. There's some, you'll notice for a while, I don't know if they're still doing it, but a lot of live streamers were saying like, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. And across the board, you'd see them all doing it. So, but ritual in its importance, in our lives and in our work. And I think how you should bring ritual to your live streams. It's going to help you do a lot of things. But let's pay a quick bill, and then we're going to bring in our guest. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hello, Kizzy from Portland. Kizzy also happens to be our producer, so she kind of has to be here. Scooch case. Look, these are good cases. I am a big fan of Scooch case. We use them right here in our house, and the case has this really cool feature, and I have not prepared. Oh, here's the iPhone. Sorry. I didn't have the right phone nearby. So Scooch has got this cute little device on here that's like one of those little pop-up things that lets you hold onto the phone. You can also use that, of course, to put the phone on the table. You can do it in portrait and landscape mode. You can drop it from 10 feet. I dropped it one time on the show. And it's a great case. Really nice company. They're out of Indiana. And it's good company. Their values, at least the owner, I think we're similar politically. So I can stand behind them. They make a good product. So that's Scooch Case. And there we go. Make sure, buy something from Scooch and you like it, email them. Tell them why you bought it, that you heard about it on our show. And they would love to hear that. And so what else do we have going? It is, it's just very exciting. When I was out in LA, if you caught any of those videos, I had that beautiful California sunshine on my face. Probably that beautiful orange because of all the smog and everything that's in LA. But it was I had a couple of beautiful evenings there and just hung out with some good people, had some good conversations. So there'll be more of that to come. And now, without further ado, we're gonna bring two people out here, one person out here, and now we're gonna have two. Hey man, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, my brother?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I am absolutely, not in the right business when it comes to pronouncing names and saying names. So say your name for me again.
My name is Timashion Jones.
Timashion. All right. Timashion. I probably won't even have to say your name again all night, but
It's okay, man.
I like that. I like that name very And I like just like Timashion Jones. It sounds like a director or somebody. You know what I mean? It's got a good. It's it's not like Tim Smith. I like that. Timashion Jones. It's a good one. Good. Good. Oh man, you should do a. That'd be a good Marvel character too. I think. I like that name. So we quite typically have filmmakers, actors, musicians, and stuff on here, and I've kind of got a little bit of a niche that is working professionals is kind of what I call it. Working professional actors, actresses. You know, you don't. Steve. Maybe they call him Spielberg. I don't know. Some guy makes movies. He's a working professional filmmaker. But when I'm talking about a working professional filmmaker, I've made some connections with folks like that work out at on the Paramount lot and run sound for like 3 shows or whatever. And we've got directors and actors and stuff that they're in movies, and you even see those movies, but you might not know who the people behind the scenes are. So I think that you have kind of moved yourself up, I think, a little bit higher than just the unknown working professional, because I mean you've won an Emmy, right?
Yeah. We produced a movie called Cody High, and it got a Emmy Award for Best Documentary. And then we also got a couple of Emmy Awards for like the trailer and other
Oh,
things like
awesome.
that. So altogether, it's three Emmys for that.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's very cool. The not too bad a thing to have an Emmy in your office on your resume. I think that's a pretty
Yeah,
good thing.
yes.
I think that's a
It's
pretty good
actually
thing.
sitting on my fireplace right next to my fantasy football championship in 2006. So you know,
Oh, I like that. Pretty
two
good.
big
Oh, which
accomplishments
one do
in
you
my
like
life.
better?
The fantasy football, of course. No,
Of
I'm
course,
joking.
of course.
The Emmy.
The So how did you get into filmmaking? What gave you the bug?
I started doing video in like 2002. I was in college taking a class. It was a class called Arts in Action, and I'm a manufacturing engineer by trade, and I was in school for manufacturing engineering. And I was in the library, and the librarian came in, and he asked me if I wanted to see like his home video he made about Christmas time, and it had like transitions and special effects, and it looked really clear. And I'm like, wow, you did that? And he was like, yeah, and he said I use this program called iMovie, and it's a camera, and I'm like, what? So while I was taking the class, I started to study film, art, paintings, and we had to do a movie with our with the camera, but we couldn't use any video editing, so it had to be in camera editing,
Oh,
and
sure. They did that
that was
in
our
film
first
school.
time.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
we had to just do a one take,
yeah,
kind of deal.
yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
So I caught the bug from there, and ever since then, I just went and got me a camera, got a Mac computer, got iMovie, and that was 2002, three, and then 2011 is when we actually made our first film. A Love That Hurts. So yeah,
How so from 2008 till 2011, and you got your first film out in 2011?
we shot it in 2011. It didn't
Oh,
come out
well,
until
there you go. No,
2013.
that's good though. That's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, um what was that journey like?
Oh, it was a beautiful, painful struggle. When you're making a movie for the very first time, like we in our, I got a couple of partners that we started a business with, a film company called Frame by Grace Films, and it was our first time making a movie together, and we had to learn all the do's and don'ts of the film, making a movie, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and outside of coming up with the money to get the equipment, because that's back when those DLSRs just first started coming out. Um, and we shot it with a 5D Mark II and a 7D. And I mean, it was crystal clear then. I mean, if you look at the movie now, you still couldn't really tell we shot it on those cameras. But the technology became affordable for us to do it right at the time, the perfect time. So we learned the technology side. Then we had to learn the production side and
Mm.
dealing with actors and you know, and Walter V. Marshall, he actually directed the movie. He carried a lion's share of, the script writing and directing everything. And it was just we all had to bring our skill sets together in order to pull this thing off. So
Mm.
we shot it
That's
in
a
about
big.
20, 25 days. Yeah,
That is a
and
big thing.
it's 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's a big thing in filmmaking. Um, is that collaboration and working together, and it's a. I think it can be hard for. I don't. Young isn't the right word. New filmmakers um, to grasp that concept quickly, that you can't do this alone, because I think when you have that dream of being a filmmaker like your whole life, somebody wants to be the next George Lucas or whatever, you've got kind of so much invested in that, that you're just going to focus like a laser beam on this one thing. But it sounds like for you coming into this, you kind of treated it already treated it like a business, right?
So the very first film set that I was on was my own film. Like
Yeah,
was
there you
on I
go.
Love the Earth. Um, the beautiful part about it is, you know, the guy that directed it, Walter, he went to film school, so he went to Full Sail. So he came with that knowledge of understanding how to make a movie. Then you also had my other producer, Daryl Bradford, who went to school for sound. So he really had the sound aspect together. And then I went to school for manufacturing engineering. So I
Hmm.
had to understand the process of making the movie, right? So all of us coming together, it worked out very, very, very well. So we approached it and we all just wanted to thrive in our areas of expertise. So I didn't know anything about lenses and I had a camera, but I didn't have one of those kind of cameras where you got
Hmm.
to get a depth of field or whatever, all that other stuff that comes along with it. But I did know how to manufacture something from concept to production, right? So I used my manufacturing engineering expertise to, shed some light and being able to streamline the filmmaking process to make us more efficient, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know,
That well, so that engineering stuff came in handy.
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and it's still coming in handy now. I mean, I shot my last movie last two movies, we shot it in like 5 days. And they
Hmm.
were real, like probably an hour, 70 minutes long.
Five
But
days.
we're at,
Mm,
yeah, yeah, and it doesn't look like it was shot in 5 days. But if
that's
you
good.
plan it right, and if you do those, we have something in manufacturing called single minute exchange of dies, and it teaches you how to change over from one mold to another very quickly.
Mm,
And in the filmmaking process, you have to change things, you have to change setups, you have to change lighting, and use those same changeover processes in the film area as well. That's my
right.
my competitive advantage. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do something like that without sacrificing quality.
Well, I think that is. I'm just been sending out some messages here to folks about tonight. What do you what what drives you to make these films?
Well, I have a heart to want to help people, you know, and um, the company that I have right now is called T-Bot Media, which stands for the Body of Praise Media. My wife and I started the company, and we use um, all of our skills to bring the body. We call it the body of Christ, right? So the body, everybody come together as one body to um, impact our community for the better. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I want to use our gifts and our tools to make this world a better place, right? To give people tips and tools to be able to do life better, and you know, we tackle difficult subject matters like marriage. We tackled schools that were you know, being neglected, you know, in Detroit, and how the community came together to improve the schools. I'm doing a movie right now in post production on bullying, and I did one on teen suicide prevention. Also, one on abstinence to teach young people how to deal with those sexual pressures that come into, you know, to kind of get in the way of your goals and things like that, you know. And I've also did a movie about a visit to Africa, you know, Ethiopia and Egypt, and I wanted to shed a positive light on the continent because we were taught from an early
Mm,
age that it was nothing really positive in Africa, and we shouldn't aspire to go over there and visit. So, you know, all these things, you know, that's what drives me is to make the world a better place, and make the world a better place, and use these movies to help bring people some hope, you know.
right. Well, that's a pretty good. I think that's a pretty good mission. Um, where do you how are you funding these ventures? You got any credit? Got any
So
room on your credit cards?
no. I sold drugs, and I no, I'm just
Oh, I use them.
no,
I don't
no.
sell them.
No. I our first movie, we put our money together. You know, it was three people. We put our money together, and we pretty much didn't get paid anything because we all worked for free in order to have the movie. Um, but we made a little bit of money, and you know, as those films began to make money, we began to pour them into, you know, other films. But the other good thing about what I do is we work with some awesome nonprofit organizations, and a lot of these nonprofit organizations will either get grants or they will foot the bill for us to do these films. So the one I'm doing on teen suicide, bullying, and abstinence, I've been working with an organization, a nonprofit organization called the Union, and they're doing some phenomenal things right now, and they've been getting grants and other things like that to help build a curriculum to be able to put it inside of the school. So the film is not just a film, but it's part of a curriculum where kids can watch an episode of it, take a test, you know, on what they learn, and you know, really make sure that message sinks in. You know, so that's how the majority of the funding we've been doing. You know, in my past one, now I funded the one for Africa, and my friend Waka. We both took a trip over to Africa. He's actually from Ethiopia, so that made that trip really special. Um, so going forward, I plan on getting some investors and really making higher end movies.
Hmm. Well, investors and higher end movies. I think even in that time, would you said you were 2008? We talked about this already. You've seen massive technological changes in, you know, the ability to make films, you know, the equipment and everything. The cost of filmmaking, you know, at the high level is really high. Oh, thank you, Joy, for the Haps Hug Award. There, it's really high, very expensive, but you can make, man, Darian Danjou, who's my co-host on the film festival. Tomorrow night, actually. You know Darian from Clubhouse, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1 Minute Film School.
Yep, yep. And
Yep.
I've seen some of the work Darian's done on a brought a bag of French fries to the set and shared that with everybody. That's all they got paid. Okay, it was a whole cart of food, but make some incredible movies on a low budget, and so that's the thing that excites me is that again, in that working professional level, there's absolutely no reason you've got a movie like out on Tubi, and your stuff gets shown, in the same places that other filmmakers' stuff gets shown, and you don't necessarily have a $50,000 Red One camera with all this, gear and stuff on it. And It's awesome. It really is. I think it's democratized filmmaking in a lot of ways. Forget the top whatever that is, what it is. But I mean, good films can be made by people that can make good films now, and they don't have to worry too much about the equipment like they did before. What's your favorite thing to do in filmmaking? Like, do you like to direct? Do you like to produce? You know what I mean? Like, what do you like doing?
I like doing nothing and just collecting money. Um, I mean,
Well,
that's
I
like
do
the
too,
ultimate
but
goal,
it
right?
never works.
Never, ever, never, ever works. No. So it's funny that you say about the price, and you can make a movie. Like I've made movies with very, very minimum resources. Getting volunteers to do things, but it's really hard to put together a movie with people who don't really understand the craft, right? I mean, you can get a
Oh yeah,
volunteer to hold a boom mic, but it's a certain way you have to hold that boom mic. You
yeah,
can't let
no,
your ring hit on a handle. You got to get in a certain area where you can stay out the shot.
you just got to be able to
You
hold
need
that
somebody.
thing up.
Yeah, yeah, and it's, I mean, it's more than that, but I'm just saying, like, you need people that know what they're doing, right? Especially if you
Where are
want to make
you
a
at?
better movie.
Where are you at? Out of
Detroit.
Detroit. Okay. Oh, I'm in
Yeah,
Chicago, so I didn't realize we were that close. Um,
yeah.
yeah, you're 100% right. Your grandma can only do so much on set.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
I
So,
made
so,
those
so,
films
yeah,
in film school.
yeah. I don't want to dodge your question, but I just want to lead up to it. The more the budget, you want to make the film as good as the budget would allow,
There you
right?
go.
So
Hmm.
everybody can go and make a movie with their iPhones and say, "Hey, I made a movie with the iPhone," but you can make a much better movie with a better iPhone or a better camera, right? Or the lighting needs to be
There you
better.
go.
So if you have someone that really know how to light well, I mean that iPhone movie can be very, very well done.
I've seen
So
feature films on an iPhone, but what they don't tell you is there's $50 million worth of other shit behind
exactly,
that iPhone that's just taken
yeah,
the raw image.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So don't let the smooth taste fool you. That yeah, you can do it with an iPhone when they got all these extra people, right? Um, so I really wanted to make sure that I pretty much double the production value for whatever budget that I get. So if I get a $15,000 to $20,000 budget, I wanted to make it look at least $50,000. Like if you look at it,
Hmm.
and you're like, oh yeah, that they probably spent about $50,000 $70,000 on that.
Right.
If we shot a movie with 100,000, okay, yeah, it looks like 200, 250. So I want to make it look always make it look better than what the budget gave to me. I am a natural producer when it comes to putting together the film. I direct because I have to, because I can't just pay a director that I want to direct. So I
Hmm.
have to direct. Um, so in my recent films, I began to bring on more people with different skill sets, and they're kind of like filling in, so I can just sit back and I can make sure everything is coordinated properly and we can do everything right, and I produce. that's really what I enjoy doing the most. But I can direct, and I direct. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I like in everything I do, whatever it is, whether it's regular consulting business and work that I've done over the years, or a little bit of entertainment stuff I've done over the years. I like I like producing too. I like having 19 things up in the air, juggling them all, and making it all
yeah,
come together. There's just nothing more fun than that.
yeah.
Um, it's a beautiful thing. And let's look at one of your trailers here, and we can go in any order you want. Let's say, because we've already been gabbing for 26 minutes, so and we haven't shown anything. um,
Let's go with the first one. That I love the hurts one.
okay, very good. We're gonna roll this. We won't set it up. Let's just watch it.
Being married 40 years,
So I have
we've
sound.
seen our fair share of painful events. But God, He taught us how to love, even when it hurts.
Marriage is picture perfect until you're in it. And once you're married, you realize all the hard work it takes. Sometimes you work so hard at marriage that you work against each other. When you first introduced me to Chris, he was doing everything to get my attention. Now it's like nothing. Seems like he's not even interested in me.
I just don't understand Samantha sometimes. It's like she don't appreciate what my career is doing for our future. I don't know how, and you're not giving me a break. I'm trying to provide the best way I can.
So what did the preacher have to say?
He said that I shouldn't be selfish, but to love Chris in a sacrificial way by laying down my life for him.
Why? So Chris can walk all over you? Girl, there is nothing wrong with you.
See, it comes down to this with women. They need affection, they need security, and they need commitment. And they need to know that they're number one.
You're right. And I'm wrong. But it doesn't matter because I'm always wrong. You never appreciate anything I do right. And I've been bringing money in this house, and you still find a way to tear me down.
Are you done? We can't agree on anything, and everything turns into an argument. Do you think Chris is having an affair?
Still find a way to tear me down.
Samantha, help. And Jesus said, everyone who acknowledges me publicly here on earth, I will acknowledge before my Father in heaven.
911, he's laying on his kitchen floor and he's covered in blood. And he's barely breathing. Somebody quickly.
Your enemies will be right there in your own household. If you cling to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for me, you will find it.
Ooh, I'm hearing some feedback. There we go. I think you got it.
Yep.
So what was the impetus for making this film?
We had a desire to help people in their marriage, right? We had a few people who really was going through a lot of trials in their marriage, and we say, hey, can we give them a tool to use and help inspire people to hold on to this commitment a little longer, or this covenant as we call it. And even through trials and tribulations, you can still work through those things,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to make sure that we painted a picture of some really nasty sin and betrayal, and to show how people overcome those kind of backstabbing events that take place. And you can
Well,
watch
I
that on
think that's
Tubi now, right?
I think that's a good film for anybody to watch, because going through problems and and issues like that, and not really having anything to kind of help inform you, and especially with stuff that people want to keep quiet. So, what was the what's come out of the film? What's the reaction been to it, and that kind of stuff?
Well, the movie's been out for at least 7 or 8 years, so it's been doing quite well as far as we show them in marriage workshops that we do. We've gotten feedback of people who have already been divorced, and they end up getting back together.
Oh wow,
We
that's
had
cool.
yeah, we get all kind of messages saying, hey, how this film really helped out.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't heard too many from singles, but the people that were married, the feedback that we get was really really positive.
That's
You
nice.
know.
That's really nice to know that you helped out, help people like that. That's really cool. That's really cool. I think that you've kind of got a filmmaking with a even more of a purpose going on kind of business.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have to make movies that matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, being in Detroit, there are a lot of filmmakers here, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the movies that are out right now, they all are all over the place, right? So I wanted to pick a lane to say, hey, can we really make make an impact on people's life in a positive way? Um, with our films. So we really wanted to have movies with messages that we really wanted to get out there, not just for entertainment, but entertainment. We want people to be entertained, but we want them to
Mm-hmm.
be educated as well. So we want them to think, we want them to laugh and enjoy themselves. We want them to learn.
I like that. Hey, I'm gonna reset the graphics server here. Hang on one second. All right. I want to see if that improves your video, but yeah, it's. I think it's got to be coming from your side. It's a little choppy, but it works. We can see you. We can hear you. Um,
Okay. Hold on one second. Let me make a call right.
what I'll do is let's
Yeah.
play. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I think so. My son is using the bandwidth on his PlayStation.
Oh
So
man, I
so
see what you mean.
he's hogging it up right now. So yeah, if you want to play another
Yo.
trailer, he should be off by then.
Oh, that's hilarious. We'll see if it improves. I
Yeah,
love that.
hopefully
Yeah,
so.
fortunately, mine is only 7, so he's in bed, not hogging any bandwidth. How old's your son?
15.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, what else could you do? I
Right.
mean, and hey, playing video games is preparing you for the future because, it's all going to be a video game with implants and everything in the future anyway. So it's getting him good trading. um, what does he think about filmmaking?
Actually, he's one of the main characters in my last movie that I did. So this is his first time being in one of my movies. Well, actually, he was in A Love That Hurts, but we all walked past as a family and made a cameo.
Uh huh.
But it was no acting, and he just had to wave at at one of the main characters. But he
Mm-hmm.
actually is acting right now. So he's been acting in plays and different things for last few years, and he's really starting to take it pretty serious.
That's very cool. Well, that's an impact from your work right there on your children. Um, you never know. He might have been an engineer had you not gotten into filmmaking, but now he seems to have got the acting bug. I have 18-year-old that has and I've been an artist my whole life, but I'm like, I mean, I was just subconsciously saying doctor, 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 doctor your whole life, but I knew you would be an artist because your mom's an artist and your dad's an artist. So, but at least have a backup like a undergrad minor in psychology or something, which I think she might do. But yeah, that's cool. I like that. And you mentioned too that your wife's involved, right? She's part of this.
Yeah. So, yeah, my wife is very supportive. She was actually one of the catalysts to have me leave my engineering job, right? So I like recently left like full time. So last time you were asking me about being on the show, you were saying, "Hey, you got to do it this late," and I'm like, I can't do a show that late. I have to be up at like be at work at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And as of July 2nd, that was my last day working. I put my 2 weeks in. Now I'm full-time filmmaker. And,
wow. Well, thank you for quitting your job so you could be on the show.
Yeah, just for the show, man. This is actually the first. I think it's the first. No. Well, this is the first show since I've been a full-time filmmaker. I did do a show while I was in the middle of the 2 weeks. But yeah, this is it. So she said it in February, like, hey, I think it's really around that time where we can go ahead and start thinking about you coming home. And
I love that.
It's been on a goal list since 2015. We've been planning on doing it. It was supposed to happen in 2020, but something happened in 2020 that kind of messed up a few things. But just for me, not for anyone else. But we felt that it was the right time to do so. Now I've been able to do 8 films with my full-time job, working 9 to 5 or whatever, 12-hour days that I'm working. Imagine what I can do if I can pour all this time into full-time filmmaking. And that's what really gets me excited about doing.
Oh, I like that. That's nice that you're pumped up about being able to do that. What is the well, I was going to say I wanted to see what the next project was, but again, let's take a look. What was our second trailer here?
Probably Cody High. That was the second movie that we did, and it's the one that got the Emmy Awards.
Gotcha. Well, then I think we want to watch this.
When I first came to Cody, Joy Road from Southfield to Evergreen was dangerous. The kids fought on the Southfield Freeway. That's when I realized there was a suicidal mindset. If I get hit, so what? What did I really lose? And that's the part people don't get. And the thing that solves it is they miss the one thing we all have, and that's hope. I tell anybody this. If it wasn't for Skillman and United Way, Cody Rouge would be dead. Skillman created good neighborhoods, which allowed for Don Bosco Hall to be created, for there to be activities in the community, support in the community, and all of a sudden, everything was working in concert, and it brought back hope.
I've been here for a World Series. I've been here through various mayors, ups and downs. I've seen over and over again this idea that there would be a renaissance in Detroit. All that's going on with some of the corporations that are helping Life Remodel, GM and Quicken, and you get the vibe that the dots are starting to connect.
This is the largest single volunteer effort during 1 week period of time that GM's ever done.
General Motors is committed to the city. This is our home. Work we're doing with the schools is so important because if you're going to have a strong city, you've got to have a strong education system, and that's where we're investing.
The work that's being done here, I think, is going to be very, very transformative for the kids that go to school here. We are trying to affect all of the change that we can in any way possible that really encompasses the entire city.
It's going to go down in history as something very cool that the city was able to be part of, and look back and say, that's where something big started.
I'm so happy I don't have to deal with it anymore. I mean, it's totally different now.
So was that your first documentary?
That was our first documentary. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how'd you get attached to that? How'd you find out about that? What got you to that?
Well, the CEO for Life Remodel, which is a nonprofit organization they were doing things like what was that show, like the Extreme Home Makeover kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing it for like citizens in the Detroit area, right? So they were taking houses and giving it to families.
Oh, okay.
And we had um, recorded some like behind the scenes stuff, just kind of have some B-roll footage. And then the CEO said, "Hey, once he came to our movie and saw Love That Hurts, he was like, "Hey, I got this idea. We want to do a school next year, and want you guys to kind of do a documentary on it." And we all sat on the table. We had good vibes on it, and the rest is history. It got 3 Emmys, and the neighborhood that it was done. It was like 100 square blocks that they cleaned up, and it's beautiful, right? If you go over there today, they got a brand new football field, and they're steady adding on to it. It's like long-term commitment from churches to help the neighborhoods, and it's really good, so yeah, that was the first documentary, and our most critically acclaimed documentary, Cody High.
Because I'm very curious about the community. You said that they started this, so they basically started a new school. Is that what you're saying?
No, it was an existing school.
It was the existing school. Okay.
Yeah, it was an existing school. So the like if you once you watch the movie that you can see
Mhm.
you can see it on Tubi, right? Or
Cool.
Amazon, whatever platform. But
Mhm.
if you look at it, the kids were having a hard time getting to schools because on the way to school they had like a lot of abandoned houses, right? And some of
Oh,
the young
okay.
ladies were in fear of getting snatched into some of these houses, so they would like
Sure.
wait till it get light outside, and sometimes the classes would start very early when it's still
Mhm.
kind of dark, right?
In the
So
winter,
they had
yeah.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. So we had to do something about this, and say, okay, we had to board up these houses, we had to create safe pathways for these kids to
Mhm.
get from the bus stop to the school, right? The school, they had leaks all over the school. Like when it was raining, you see the documentary. We had one of the biggest rainfalls during the documentary that we were shooting. And if you see some of the footage, it kind of reminded me. It's funny because some of our freeways was like people were with sea dews and stuff on the freeway because the water had stacked up so high. And the same thing happened in 2014, and we documented that. But the kids were just trying to learn, right? So you had violence that was taking place. You had abandoned houses. You had the football team didn't have a home field. They had to have all their games at away, right? So the home games had to be at away places, right? It was just rough, right? So it took GM and Ford and Quicken Loans and BASF, all these different organizations to kind of bring resources together to help over 7 days, clean up that whole community, and then also assist with developing it for years to come.
Well, that's that's pretty phenomenal. And just so you were really a part of that. I mean, the film kind of amplifies the impact of what's happened there. I'm sure it's probably helped with fundraising and obviously just awareness to it.
Yeah. I mean, what we so Dan Rather had did a documentary on, I think it was Henry Ford High School in Detroit years ago, and he called the movie a national disgrace. And it just highlighted everything wrong with the Detroit public school system.
Mm-hmm.
And it really rubbed us the wrong way because there were a lot of schools in Detroit that were thriving, that were doing good, but they chose to focus on the negative aspect, right?
Sure.
So the community, they're doing phenomenal things, but we don't have anyone there to capture that footage and put it on a public display to show the positive things that are being done, you know. So yeah, if we can put a camera on somebody that's doing something positive and show the world, hey, positive things are being done, it can inspire more people to do more positive things for their community, you know. Yeah, and then also we did another film right after that called Life in Osborne when they fixed up another school, you know, on Detroit's east side, which had a similar story. But it definitely helped bring awareness to what the organization is doing.
That's really cool. Have you, out of all these films, you've said you've had, like people, got back together with their marriage and stuff. What has been the kind of the individual connections that have been most powerful about this film for you as a filmmaker, even?
Are you talking about Cody High specifically, or
Cody High
just
School.
any film?
Yeah, any film, but I was talking about Cody High School.
The biggest impact that we had was meeting some of the community organizers. At first we didn't know any of these people's stories. We didn't know anything about them, and we had a chance to follow them for a whole year and see all the things that they're doing. And 10 years later, we're still Facebook friends. We still see each other, and they're doing phenomenal things, right? You know, one lady, she got like it was like $1 million grant to help out, other businesses in the community. And it's like, she started by just saying, hey, I want to volunteer and help out and tell my story. You know what I'm saying? But now she's doing like those things. So the biggest impact I had with Cody are, the community organizers that were really like the feet boots to the ground type of individuals,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That is a, this is a kind of a side of, again, the film industry that I don't think people, necessarily even think about, which is all of the, again, I look at this in a lot of ways for people that want to be filmmakers or, musicians or any of those things where you can actually see a path to do what you love in something like this. You're nothing wrong. We had great films this past film festival. They were all amazing, but those are were all fiction films and very much kind of geared towards, I guess, a general kind of audience. But you've got a very more specific audience in mind. Obviously, it's nice to have everybody watch it, but you know what I mean? You've kind of got a direction that you go in with your films. Like you said, you kind of focused on that little niche area and have made it work really well. What outside of that niche area, what kind of film would you like to produce? Like if somebody called, and they're like, hey man, do you want to produce blankety blank? You know what I mean? With the blankety blank, you know what I mean? Like totally different. Somebody called you outside. Like what would be that dream call for you? What kind of film would you really like to make?
I have about 5 different film ideas that I would love to to do. Right?
Awesome.
So I can give them a list of things that I would like to do. But for me to get involved in a project, it really has to have, some kind of impact that you want to make with the film. I have to be able to believe in the vision. Because I get calls all the time and say, hey, I got this, in Detroit, we got a lot of shoot 'em up, bang, bang kind of movies and things. And they're doing very well in the quote unquote box office.
Mm-hmm.
But when it come down to it, I can do one of those movies, but it has to have a serious subject matter where some transformation took place, something actually happened that's really going to improve the community. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really what I'm thinking. I want to improve families. I want to help out any way I can. So I mean, I got everything from romantic comedies to musicals. In my wheelhouse that I'm trying to get funding for. I got a
Mm-hmm.
period piece that I want to do for a person that started a civil rights organization here in Detroit. And I'm trying to get funding for that one right now. And they've done some phenomenal things from 1968 and really started an organization that I benefited from personally here in Detroit. So yeah, I got a list of things I want to do.
I like that. But still, with that purpose in mind, I was trying to get you to say, well, yeah, I mean, I want to do, Batman versus Spider-Man or something, Star Wars or whatever. So I like that a musical, you would love to see that. Oh my goodness. We've got a musical tomorrow on the Film Fest. That'll be fun. Great couple. Yeah. So still, you've got that purpose that you carry throughout the film, or throughout your filmography here. You were talking about the film about Africa and the continent of Africa and being Americans. A lot of Americans think Africa's, one country. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the country of Africa. In fact, it's like the largest landmass. It has, more resources than anywhere on the planet. And if you're a colonialist or a corporate goon, you want everybody to think Africa doesn't have any worth, right? Hundreds of years ago, even, because you don't want anybody to go there. So Africa's always had this, underrepresented, overly oppressed, thing. And so it sounds like this thing that you want to do with Africa has got to have that that feeling that you put into these movies of, this is something that needs to be known.
Absolutely. Did you want to play the trailer for it, and then
yeah, let's play the
go
trailer
ahead and kickstart my thoughts on it?
You got it.
Growing up in the U.S., I would only see negative videos of Africa. As I got older, I realized that I was lied to and decided to go and see Africa for myself.
Standing right in front of the actual church that is housing the Ark of the Covenant.
This is a real colossal head from Omax.
The historical educational system of Ethiopian Orthodox Church.
The largest, the most magnificent. You gotta come with us next time. We're gonna have a real big crew. We're gonna visit all over the place, And we might can bring the kids, you know what I'm saying? Bring the little kids so they can see that their history didn't start with slavery.
You're muted.
Boom. I do that once in a while. Oh, that was first time tonight. Not too bad. I said, man, there was some passion in there. That is just, that's really, just really powerful. And, what is this shaping out to be, this film?
So it is a documentary that is that's
You're still
finished.
doing it, right?
No, well, it's complete. These are one of those projects where if I go back, I would add another chapter to it. But I'm like, you know
Oh,
what?
gotcha.
It's a piece that I'm going to say it's done. Right now, we are looking for some a different way of distribution for this kind of film. I don't want it to go the traditional way that we've done in the past. I want to do something special with this one. So, Waka and I, we have to sit down and figure out the best way we want to, you know, uh, uh, get this out there. You know, so.
Well, let me ask you, what is that? Obviously, I don't, if you've got an idea that you're holding on to that you want to hold on to, that's fine. But I mean, what is it? What's driving you for different distribution? You want to get it into other people's hands or people that might not get it in their hands? I'm curious what is the regular system, I guess, not going to be able to do for you?
Well, I definitely want to get more visibility to it. So we just try to, I guess, a better strategy to get the people that will look at this film to look at it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And because if I just throw this thing up on a platform, you know, how do I get people over in Ethiopia to take a look at it? How do I get people in Egypt? And you know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we have our fan base and our people in Detroit. I'm pretty sure they will support. But the people that were negatively impacted by the educational system to that just gloss over anything positive about Africa, those are the people we're trying to get to. You
Okay.
know.
Well, you know what? So I have a friend in I never remember how to say it. Lagos or Lagos? Lagos, I think. And she is she is she's a phenom. She is the first newscaster, news presenter in the history of her country to have her own show, a female, to have her own political show, and women prior to that, if they were on a show, they were always, second banana, right? They didn't ever get to lead. So I want to connect the two of you up to see who she might know over there that could possibly help get that film shown, because she does stories that are continent wide, but right now they're having so many problems politically there right now that I think that kind of is more of her focus. But she's got a very big Africa vision, and I think a lot of connects, and she's just an amazing woman and a good friend. And I will connect you guys up and see, because
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that makes me I'm like, wow, that's cool, because that's a connection that I would have never thought coming that way. So yeah, that's very cool. And I'll put you guys in touch with each other. And what is the end result that you want to see this film accomplish?
I would love to see masses of people, droves, go over and visit Africa.
Ooh,
could
okay.
potentially even stay and live. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I before I left work, right, I sent the email out and I said, "Hey, everybody! Those of you who don't know, I'm a filmmaker and I'm going off to pursue my dreams." And I sent like a list of trailers to, everyone. And I get this guy and said, "Man, I saw that trailer and I'm going to visit Africa." And,
wow.
and I was like, "Oh," I said, good. And my last day, he texted me his confirmation of his flight and all that stuff that he's going to South Africa, and it's just that's what I'm like. I really want to see and say, hey, you know, don't believe everything. It's some beautiful places in Africa, man. It was some gorgeous places. We stayed on the beach at one time over in Ghana. Ethiopia, it just has a real rich heritage and beautiful people, and and it wasn't what we were taught, like mud huts and you know what I'm saying? People running
Mm-hmm.
around and with bones in their nose and want to cook people and all that. Like what is this? You know what I'm saying? And it's just a beautiful place that I want to show that. And we visited all over Ethiopia. We went to where the Ethiopians say that they have the Ark of the Covenant. The Washington Monument is that um, what do you call that thing? Obelisk, right? And
Oh,
we
yeah.
went to different where they actually built obelisks in Ethiopia, and even in Egypt, I had a chance to go to the pyramids. Had a chance to go to these different temples. Like the largest temple in the world is in Egypt, right? And you would think that maybe somewhere over in Rome, somewhere else, but it was like the largest temple is in as Karnak Temple, and I would have never known that had I not did some research and go over there and see it for myself. So um, yeah, I just want people to see how beautiful it is and give them the real deal.
Yeah, I love that. It definitely makes me think of uh, my friend Dr. McBride Dominica that is going to be on with us on Wednesday, and the work that she did in Africa at the beginning of what become the nonprofit that she created, and that connection to Africa and making that connection stronger for everybody, to Africa as a place that is as, you know, is going to Europe or something. You know what I mean? Like, I like this idea
Yeah,
of just
yeah.
people going to Africa in droves, and it's not just, it's Africa has probably every environment there is on Earth. You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
mountains and you know what I mean. Like, everybody thinks, oh well, we'll go on safari. Well, if you're in a country that has lions, but not every country down there is going to have lions. It's a very diverse place. So yeah, and the west coast of Africa versus the east coast and the jungles and everything. Like, yeah, that's just a laudable, that's a great goal too. Even that you're just undertaking this thing, to do that for Africa like that. I mean, you know, that's fantastic. And that that you're going to do it really well, because I've seen a taste of what you're doing, and how to make films, and
Mhm.
it's a good thing when you're a filmmaker. I say this about singers all the time. There are people who can sing, and there are people who know how to sing, and then there are the rare person who knows how to sing and sings. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
when it all comes together like that. So that's got to just got to really feel great. It's got to really feel great, man. I think that
yeah.
I think you're doing just really great stuff.
It does. It does feel great, and you know, it, and a little known, I guess, fact about myself is I love history as well, right?
Ah.
So, I was able to mix the information that I was able to learn, like Ethiopia being one of the countries in Africa that was never colonized.
Hmm.
They fought off colonization, and we went to the battlefield in Adwa where they fought off the Italians in that war, and where they preserved their sovereignty. So we actually went to the place where the battlefield took place, right? Um, and we just followed these different kings. One of the things that really blessed me was I was sitting at the airport and I saw this guy, Johannes. They had a big picture of him, and he was one of the Ethiopian kings, and he had these cornrows in his head, like these braids, you know. And this was the king that had braids in his hair, and we're telling the kids in school, hey, you know, this looks ghetto. Don't wear braids. You can't have that in a corporate environment because that's not acceptable. But we have kings in Africa that actually had braids in their head that was done well, right? So our whole mindset, we need a paradigm shift on the way that we view ourselves. What is beauty? You know, what is beautiful? You know, land. You know, just like you're saying, hey, yeah, I want to go to you know, Europe, and you know, I want to go to these different places, and they have tropical places in Hawaii that you can go to, yeah, but they also have some places in South Africa you can go to. There's some places, you know, Western Africa you can go to. The beaches are beautiful, right? You know, so you know, yeah, man, that's it, man. We just need a mind shift on the perception and perspective of Africa, you know. So,
well, I like that, and I think you're I think you're doing it. I think that you could, just like it seems to be the reoccurring theme in your filmmaking, which is a great thing, which is people come up to you and tell you how meaningful, you know, the film has been. So let's get some feedback from a whole continent and get people to see that film. I like that that you want to have that film seen there too. You know what I mean? Not just here. I think that's really cool.
absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been trying to get some folks to come watch and communicating with people here a little bit tonight. So I apologize that I looked distracted. I heard everything you said and it all went in, and I'm trying to you know, shoot some messages because I've been away a lot. I haven't been here a lot. So people aren't used to kind of well, I still have a little bit of a hodgepodge schedule, but there'll be people will pick this up on the replay. There'll be quite a few replays on this, and also this is, you know, it's going to be there when we're done. It's going to sit, you know, right there on HAPS. So, you know, direct people to it.
And
if
I'm
you
broadcasting
want, you know
it
what
as
I mean?
well.
What's that?
I'm broadcasting it as well on Facebook.
You're on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
exactly.
multicasting it.
Right. So it's going to be out there. And then the other thing is, I can give you a copy of this. You know what I mean? If you want to do anything with it, you know what I mean? Promotion wise or whatever, it's yours to do with what you want. But I also want to, maybe we can do a little something around, the Africa doc with doing a couple of days of promoting that on my platform. You know, we come up with some fun things to do, make some connections, some contacts, and, you know, see if we can help generate, you know, some interest from directions that, you know, who knows where they could come from. So we can talk, but I would love to do that because I am like, that is just, everything you're doing is inspiring, but it just, the stuff with Africa is super inspiring because it's always been a place that is just so not just misunderstood, but misrepresented. You know, it's not just misunderstood. It's been misrepresented as a place for probably when the first white guy landed there and started bullshitting and trying to take over, whatever, you know. So yeah, it's this is cool, dude, and I want to help out.
Appreciate it, man. And I've been all over the world, man. I've been to China a couple of times, and you know, I always tell people, you know, every area has their bad parts. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in Hawaii with the family, and we turned the corner, and lo and behold, I mean, it was like jacked up. You know what I'm saying? It was an area that was just like, this isn't on the brochure. You know what I'm saying? In Hawaii,
In
right?
Hawaii.
You know, yeah,
Wow.
in Hawaii, you think it's just all tropics or whatever, but you know, they got a little hood in there. I even say
Yeah.
I went to
Was it like
Shanghai,
in Honolulu or something?
Shanghai. I think it was in Honolulu, where the same
Yeah.
area as Waikiki is. Yeah. So
And then
I even say Shanghai has a Shang hood, you know, as well. So I've been to the rough spots of
of
China
Shanghai.
as well. So
I like
yeah,
that.
so I'm just saying, like, but if you focus on those negative aspects of
Yep.
of a landmass, then that's where everybody's going to think that's what it is. And if I showed you that area of Hawaii, you would have never thought that it was Hawaii. You know, but if
Right.
I was to turn over towards the beaches and say, "Oh yeah, that's beautiful," well, that's what they've been doing in Africa for so long. They just been looking at these kids with flies on their face and big bellies and snot and all that stuff, and they're not showing, you know, the contributions to world history that these Africans, you know, have made. You know what I'm saying? Then being African American, we have that attachment where we have some sense of pride and dignity in where we come from. So, all right.
Right.
So
That's
I think I'm.
no, you're good. You're good. You can come on here and you can preach about that. You know, your passion. That is totally fine. That is. I am just very appreciative of you and very happy to get to know you and been able to spend the evening with you and talking about your work and your films and the passion that you put into it. I'm so glad that we were able to get together finally and be able to do
Yeah,
this. And I'm so stoked
I quit
about
my
your.
job, man. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're quitting the job to be on my show and everything. That's fantastic. And
just for you,
this
man.
full time venture that you're doing, this is really good. I will. Yeah, we'll we'll talk and let's see how we can promote that that documentary. And just in terms of generating the interest you need for distribution, even, you know what I mean? Not even like as a
Yeah.
but yeah, let's see what kind of trees we can shake, what we can make fall out of them, because I think there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, you know, you're on Clubhouse too. I mean, there's just so many directions and people that I'm meeting right now. This stuff, you know, it all
Hmm.
comes together for a reason. And so, yeah, definitely, I'm glad we had you on the show. This has been a lot of fun, and you can tell your son now he can go back to, you know, taking out zombies or whatever.
Did, did you want to play the last one?
Oh yeah, go,
The
no problem. We
Hope
got the
Hope
whole one that
911.
got me started. Yes, 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 yes. This is what got me to wanted me to chat with you. So here we go.
When I was 8, I learned that some birds can fly hundreds of miles without stopping. I used to wish I could fly away as far as I could. If I tried and failed, maybe a flock of birds would catch me before I hit the ground and fly me hundreds of miles away. Or maybe I'll just hit the ground. Either way, I'll still be far from here.
Yes, the Hope 911 program. In a nutshell, sir, it's a peer-to-peer support group that actually allows struggling students to be helped and heard by their peers.
So, you're telling me that this Scour software of yours is gonna help us find Sean's hay?
Terrence, are you home?
Yeah. Why?
Don't do it, Terrence.
I didn't get to tell you why Hope 911 was so important.
Are you serious? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump and be free of it all.
Are you away from the weapon or in a safe environment?
And it does want to take us over there. Hang on. Wow. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to reset the graphics server. Hang on. We are. Hey, that's me. I recognize me. Let's get my. So that, whew, man, that is not a light subject right there. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. That, I mean, I just got to imagine even for the actors that was a tough thing to make.
Yeah, that was you know, we all have to understand the purpose of the movie, right? To really give people tools to the purpose of the movie, right? To really give people tools to help combat, depression and these having these suicidal thoughts. And everyone understood what the mission was going into it. And I actually had to pray for the actors because I really had them going into dark places in order for it to be believable. And I remember one time we were in rehearsal and they would like break down, or you know what I'm saying. It was like we had to be everybody's quiet because they really have to go there. And then you start talking about tears. You start talking about really getting into a character to somebody who really is about to commit suicide. And it definitely was tough for the actors, but they did a phenomenal job. A lot of these actors, they were new to acting, like just like their first film, and some people that I knew from doing what we do, some people from my church, and they came together and they put on a very good movie, and we showed it to countless people, and the feedback that we've been getting from people who been in those situations, because I literally know people and parents who children have committed suicide,
Mm-hmm.
and how can I offer some comfort to a parent, or what I really want to do is offer some options to the child before they do it.
Of
You know
course.
what I'm saying? It's like, man, if they would have saw this movie, they would have knew, what kind of help and what kind of alternatives they had to making that decision. And that's really what we wanted to do. And it's a lot of young people. If you see the graphic right at the beginning, the number one cause of death for that age range from, like, I think it was 12 to 17 was suicide.
Right.
And it was like, young kids just taking themselves out, and we have to really do something about that as a community.
Yeah. Well, that again follows real well with your purpose, your passion, and I mean, you can't tackle a more difficult subject, than that. And having lost people to suicide, and myself having, bipolar and ADD, and I don't know, there's 4 or 5 other things written down on that paperwork with my brain here. But the just, I mean, we have in this country 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids that kill themselves. And obviously,
It's
throughout
sad.
history that would happen, but this is something I think is pretty new. And from bullying to all kinds of things. So it is sad, and giving those kids alternative pathways, to understanding. I think to me, a lot of it also really, the burden is on the society to get over the fact that mental illness is a fucking illness, no different than heart disease or liver cancer or whatever. The brain is an organ. It's got a problem. We might be able to fix it with experiences and talk therapy and stuff, or we might need drugs, or a combination of the two. But it's no different than treating the heart or the lungs, or a broken limb or something. It's all part of our body. So the stigma is something that has drives kids to to complete it, because they can't get past whatever they're going through. So that is incredible that you're doing that. You did that. How long ago did you guys make that?
We made that in 2018, and I believe, or 2019. I believe it was 2019.
Because
we were getting ready to put it out and then 2020 happened and everything.
Yeah, the festivals, right? It didn't really get out there. Yeah. So you're going to get that one out there still on the circuit.
We got to lock. Yeah. We got it locked and loaded, ready to start putting into some film festivals. It's complete and everything. So.
Well, that's great.
But it is currently being used as part of the curriculum, like I mentioned.
Right, right. And that is that happening Detroit public schools? Where's that happening at?
Yeah, some select schools in Detroit.
Nice.
I'm not sure if it's been rolled out on a national stage. Last I heard, they were trying to roll it out nationally with the app, with the phone app as well. So. It's a lot of things that are in the works with that, because kids they're more visual now. I mean, we had books and stuff, and I mean, we had pictures in our books. I mean, it was great, but I mean, you put this kind of curriculum in place and you supplement it with a movie like this. I mean, they really can learn the lesson, and that's the hope for this kind of work that we're doing.
Well, that is. That is a great hope, and I'm really looking forward to being able to, continue our connection and see what else I can do to help this along. Because, gotta say thank goodness for Clubhouse, because it just has this beautiful
is
way.
Amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I was trying to get more people to get on it, and I kind of got off of it for a little while because I was just trying to deal with work and all that stuff. But now I'm back on it because I got more time, right? So I can make more connections and all that stuff. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show. Appreciate Kizzy for everything that she's done. Leading all the way up to it, giving me everything I need to be successful here. But yeah, thank you for giving me the platform to be able to share my heart that's so much attached to my art.
Well, I'm glad that we got a chance to know you and got a chance to see your heart, my friend, because you got a hell of a great heart there and you're doing great work. And it's just, I'm humbled and honored to get to know you and meet you. And this is just the beginning. This is going to be fun. I really appreciate you.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate you.
You stick right there because I'm going to hit the end button, but we'll still get a chance to talk. And listen, everybody, remember, Scooch Case is the way that you want to go if you need a case. Now, okay, fine. Buy your own case. But this case, you could drop it 10 feet. You can hold on to it. You can balance it. It's a really great case, and it's a great company, and they're our sponsor. So buy a Scooch case. I'm not gonna recommend crap unless it's that stuff that plasticized, and it's a good deal. But anyway, it was just great having you here. Everybody, share this replay out with everybody you know, because these films and this work, needs to be known. And I am just super stoked about what the vision that you have for putting this stuff together for Africa. So I'm very excited and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks for coming by, and say hi to that film family. You need like a documentary on the film family. You guys.
Yeah.
I like that.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. All right, man. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate